All right, welcome to the Generation Gap. This is a podcast about current events and history from the past. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jeff from the past.
And I'm Liam.
And what is going on, guys? How you doing?
Well,
Doing
going good.
Nice.
What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Well, we just got done with Hurricane. Yeah, Jeff, help me out here. What is it? Hurricane.
I forgot the name of it. Hurricane something. I don't know.
Liam?
I think it is.
It's a hurricane for sure.
Hurricane
All right, so you guys hate
Joseph.
All I can
And-
think of is Irene. I think that was like 10 years ago.
me.
Are we on female hurricanes or male? Isn't it alternate every year?
Is it Ernesto?
No, it was
Ernie.
All right, let's start
What
over.
is
Let's start over.
this? Nobody knows.
That was goddamn embarrassing. Let's just start. Here we go. All right.
Was
Cut
it
that-
Ernie? Liam's
cut
like,
that,
was it,
Liam,
was
please.
What
it
is it?
Goober? Hurricane
All
Goober.
right, I'm doing South Carolina recent hurricane because that was a fantastic segue, Dad. But I couldn't fucking remember what it was.
I have no clue.
And I could have talked for a little bit about it, and that was fantastic. But
I'm just getting the hockey team right now.
what the hell was it? Debbie?
Does Dallas.
No.
Does Somerville.
Okay, there's Debbie, there's Francine, there's Gordon, there's Helena, Alberto, Beryl.
Barrel.
There's a lot of them.
This year?
2020.
Hurricane Debbie made landfall in Florida's Big Bend Monday, August 5th is when it hit Florida.
Okay, that could be.
Okay, that's it.
Probably
it's,
Debbie.
It's
Yeah.
got to be Hurricane Debbie then.
Yeah.
I guess Ernesto is forming.
I think Ernesto's on the way, right?
I thought it was all women one year and all guy the next year, isn't it?
That's
I
a
have
thing.
no idea how the naming works.
Pretty sure it's a thing. Could have invented that, but I'm pretty sure.
All right, let me see. Hurricane Debbie. Okay, it's Debbie.
Yeah.
Debbie Downer. All right, let's
Ernesto is not even going to hit the U.S. All right.
till next year when the man hurricane shows up.
Yeah,
All right.
be much stronger, much more powerful. All right. Fuck.
Not
goddamn.
according
Here
to
we
the
go.
Olympics. If you're gonna talk about the Olympics. Go ahead.
Welcome to the generation. Fuck. Hold on. Welcome to Generation Gap. This is a pod. Fuck. Hold on. I got it.
This is a
I got it,
pod
guys.
fuck.
Don't worry. I
It's a
got it.
pod
Here we go.
fuck.
Here we go. Welcome to Generation Gap.
And Liam is gone.
Liam, what are you doing?
All right, I'm good.
Okay. Ow.
Welcome to Generation Gap. This is a podcast about current events and history from the past. I'm Jeff.
Yep, Jeff too.
Liam.
And what is going on, guys? How we doing?
Yeah, we're doing.
Yeah,
We're
good.
gelling like a felon. What's going on in South Carolina area? You guys survive everything?
Yeah, so we got through Hurricane Debbie, and I mean, Charleston. If you spit a few times, Charleston will flood. It's not great, but in Somerville, where I live, we had the Ashley River, and the Ashley River flooded so bad that a ton of communities were really, really affected.
Mhm.
And the Ashley River Park was flooded all the way up to the street, basically. I mean, it's a park that's hundreds of acres, and flooded all the way through. And finally, the Ashley River is now receding, and all the streets are back open. My daughter is in kindergarten, and the first 3 days of school, so she was supposed to start on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all postponed, and they used up all 3 of their weather days and started on a Monday. So basically, any other weather days we have is going to cut into their summer. But yeah, I mean, they couldn't have school just because like all the bus routes and everything were, the some of the bus routes, the roads were flooded. Luckily, in my neighborhood, nothing. We were all good. We're not in a designated flood zone, but literally a couple miles from me, we're completely underwater.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
we got lucky that we live in an area. We're in a new construction area where it was all built up to where we can withstand that kind of rain and flood. So we just
Yeah.
historic Somerville, historic Charleston, though. I mean, all underwater. So
Wow.
that's it.
What's sad too, I mean, what's scary part about South Carolina is you can get gators in the floodwater. Like they're going to come out now and go across the park and everywhere else. It's
Yeah, I mean the alligators they'll go anywhere water is. So I mean, hopefully now that the water is receding, they'll go back to their normal areas.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, initially I'm sure they are spreading a little bit,
Yeah.
Did you guys sandbag or anything? Like, were there people sandbagging everything out there?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Have to.
We were not, though. I mean, like I said, we're in a new construction neighborhood, so they basically built our neighborhood in a way that can withstand a flood. Like they can move earth, obviously, when they're building a neighborhood from scratch, and they know that we're in the low country, so like low country is like explains itself. We're so flat, so low compared to sea level that heavy rains really mess us up in the Charleston area. So
it's all swamp.
it's all swamps.
Yeah.
And my whole entire neighborhood was all one big swamp, and they built it up to be a new construction neighborhood. So
right.
I obviously they built it with flooding in mind. So luckily my neighborhood is very flood resistant,
right.
and not in a flood zone at all. So
yeah, well, that's
we're so new that we're kind of state of the art when it comes to water retention. So that really helped us a lot.
Built you up a little higher, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Or just the way that they do irrigation and flood management in our area was the newest you could be. So
I'm just thinking back, like we all grew up in Illinois, like the flooding out there. It's like even if it floods, there's nothing in the water that's going to kill me. There, a gator's going to come down my street and say hello and take a leg with him. I don't know. It's just it's a different way. And it's just like down here in Tennessee, now you got black bears. You got things that can kill you. Like Illinois was, not too much could kill you really.
There's basically nothing in Illinois.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can kill you. The only dangerous things that you have in Illinois is like black widows, prairie rattlesnakes. That's basically it. I mean, there's just nothing in Illinois that is humans. Humans is your biggest threat out there.
Yeah.
Southside Chicago is
no matter what state you're in.
Your cobra.
Yeah.
Southside Chicago is way more dangerous than a lion.
Yeah.
It's pretty much anywhere that isn't north now, to be honest with you. the West is garbage now too.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse. So
Yeah, then the south suburbs where he grew up, that takes me back to like, do you remember when we went to the Rush concert at, what was it called then? The Tweeter Center?
the
Or
Tweeter Center, yeah.
was it then? Okay.
Yeah.
What's it called now? Midwest Bank
I think it's
Amphitheater?
First Midwest Bank Amphitheater.
Oh, it's probably changed again by now.
It could have very well changed. It's in Tinley Park, Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a million names. I forgot the first name. It was, yeah, I forgot what it was. I think it was just Tinley Park something or another.
It was something for Tweeter Center. I
Yeah.
can't remember even what
It might have
was
just been
now, yeah.
Tinley Park something.
Yeah.
Concert venue. I have no idea.
Tinley Park's not too bad. I've worked there before. As far as Southside goes, pretty decent.
Yeah. That's
No,
decent
Tinley
town.
Park is great when it comes to south suburb of Chicago. It's
Like Oak Lawn and Tinley Park. Those are
yeah,
great.
Oaklawn less than Tinley Park, but Tinley Park is a nicer part of the south suburb of Chicago because you're getting further and further northwest. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
we
as
used
as you do that, you're getting better and better. So
We used to go to the Tinley Park roller rink when I was a kid, me and Scott. And it had the wood floors, kind of like Glenwood roller rink. And then across the street, Scott's parents had a deli they opened called a Piccadilly Deli. I don't know. I guess it didn't make it. I don't know. I think it was there about a year. But my point was, when I was 16, I got my license, right? I didn't have a car, so my mom would let me drive her car, which was a station wagon. Not only that, it had paneling on the side. So we used to take it down Oak Park Avenue, and there was a bridge where it would go up and over. I don't know if it was expressway or whatever it went over. But I went over it kind of fast one time. I got a little airborne. We're like, whoa, that was kind of fun. So we did a U-turn. We went back, and we would keep doing it. We just go faster and faster. We got airborne with this paneled station wagon, bouncing around. So that was as crazy as I ever got with that. But it was kind of fun, actually. But and I know we sidetracked this a little bit, but Jeff and I went to this Rush concert, and we were going to meet up there, right? And then Jeff got there before I did, and then I got there, and I'm like, "You here yet?" And because we both passed by the venue and turned around, and he parked somewhere, and then I got there. I passed by the venue, turned around. I parked in a hotel. I'm like, "Where you at?" He's like, "Well, I'm parked here." I said, "All right, come to the hotel where I'm parked, and we'll go in one car." And then he goes, "All right." So he gets there. And then I said, "Did you go by the venue and see the lady that was like waving cars in?" And then there's the real entrance is further down. So he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I think that's the employee entrance." And it looked like she was just going, "Yeah," then moving the barricade and waving you through, She couldn't have known everybody, right? So I'm like, maybe we get in the car and we do that. Even though we had, let's back up. We had tickets, and Jeff has never seen Rush in his life.
yeah, let's back up even more. Rush, Rush is my favorite band of all time. I am the biggest rock and roll fan that there could possibly be, and Rush is my favorite band. And in addition to that,
we have that in common. Go ahead.
For you listeners, Jeff is my father.
Father.
And he is also, his favorite band is Rush. So it got passed down from one generation to me. And both of our favorite bands of all time is Rush. And Jeff has gotten to see them. How many times have you gotten to see them?
I couldn't even tell you, in the 20s. I don't know.
A lot.
Yes.
Now I'm a millennial Rush fan, right? So I don't get that many chances to see Rush. I'm a Rush fan who was born in the 90s. So this opportunity to see Rush, I understand, is one of their last times touring. I mean, no matter what, just based off age, it's going to be one of the last times that you'll ever be able to see Rush.
It's going to be
So
unbelievable.
those are the stakes. Those are the stakes going in.
Not only that, but I worked with a guy and his brother knew the manager for Rush. That's how we got the tickets. And we got great seats. We're like, I don't know, third or fourth row, right in the middle there. And he's like, not only that, but we get to go backstage and meet the guys. Neil, Geddy,
So
Alex.
based on that, I have a vinyl record of Rush 2112 that I ended up giving to Liam. So Liam has a Rush 2112 record that was at a Rush concert that I hid in my hoodie to bring in. Hopefully, I could have Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart sign the being members of Rush, and so I have it tucked into me. So go ahead, continue with the story.
And I brought a picture of one of my good buddies. He had a Geddy Lee signature bass, and so he was standing up next to it. So I'm like, I'm gonna have Geddy sign this for him and freak him out, because he too was a big Rush fan. That was his favorite band. So, anyway, so yeah, we have these great seats we're gonna have, and we're gonna go backstage and we're gonna see the guys, right? So we know that's gonna happen, but for whatever reason, I say, hey, it looks like we could go through the employee entrance, and I think she'll just wave us through, right? So we get in one car. I said, whatever you do, all we do is we just wave, and then we look straight ahead. That's going to look like we're an employee. So we get there, and I think you were driving, right?
Yeah.
So you were driving, and then we get to where the lady has the barricade, right? And she looks up, and then Jeff waves. I'm waving through the windshield, waving out the car window. And so she opens it up, and we just drive right in. So we go find a place to park, and then we're walking, right, with like 100 other people, like in a single file line from the parking lot around, way down, and through this back fence, little small gate that is guarded by about 3 or 4 265-pound linebackers ready to kill anybody that's not an employee. So as we're walking toward it, we're seeing these guys, and I said, well, whatever you do, just walk through like you've been here like a million times. Don't even stop, don't slow down, don't do nothing. So we get up there, and I'm thinking, maybe, I'm an older guy with a younger guy. Maybe they're not going to think nothing about it. So we get up there, right? And we approach, and everybody's going through it. We get up there, and we walk right through it. They don't ask us nothing. So we go, now we're in the venue, right?
Yeah, not only that, but like the guards that he was talking about, they're chilling. They're not taking their job seriously.
Thankfully.
Let's go, moving along. Get to your work, get to your job. I have a vinyl record, a 12-inch vinyl record under my shirt, and I'm moving along. And I'm like, what up? Hey, how you doing? And me and him are, hey, what's up? How you doing? And we move along.
Yeah, and then we get through the gate, and then there's like this big open area, right, where everybody go into their jobs. Concession stand here, one there, here, one here, one there. There's picnic tables in the middle. There's all this stuff out there before you get to your seats around the corner, right? So we're walking through, and we're talking out the sides of our mouth, like, okay, now what do we do? We're in, and so I said, let's just keep walking. So we kept walking toward the stage, the back of the stage, right? I'm like, let's just keep going. So we go through a door. We go through something, and then we enter this door. We go through this door. We're in a room behind the stage, and we go through the next door, and we're in the next room, right? And so you can kind of hear them behind the wall. Through the next door is where the three guys are at. So, and as we enter this door, there's a lady there cooking food for them, right? So we go through the door, and I quickly saw a bathroom to the right. I'm like, hey, let's go to the bathroom for a minute. So we go in the bathroom, and so this whole time we're acting like we're just employees and nonchalantly, right? So we go in the bathroom, and this is probably the longest 10 or 15 minutes of our lives
Yeah.
making a decision.
Mine, for sure.
Now, I know, as his father, that Rush is his favorite band, right? And I know we've already got great seats. We're going to go backstage and meet them and all that, right? But here we are. We could go through the door and meet them ourselves and just say, hey, you guys need anything? We're, stagehands, or we're just here to help from the venue. What do you guys need, Diet soda, beer, what do you want? So that's what we're thinking, right? And we're talking about it real quick. Do we do it? Do we risk it all? Because we could have got kicked out, and then Jeff would have never seen Rush. And so that was going through our minds. So
That was my biggest fear.
yeah, I know. And it was
never seeing Rush live because we had tickets
I know.
and we got kicked out.
I know. I know.
That was my biggest fear ever.
Yeah. And it was a heavy burden, right? Like, what do you do? And but not seeing them was such a, you just couldn't let that happen, right? So I think our only choice was not to go through that door. And unfortunately, that's what we chose. And we didn't go through that door. So we
did
came
not go
back
through the door, and
So we come back out.
yeah,
We came out of the room. We out to the middle. We're like, now what do? We got to act like we're working. So we go over and we sit on the picnic table, and we just face each other, hoping that no one's going to ask us anything, and nobody did. The whole time, everybody's going this way, that way to work. We're just sitting there. And so I called a guy with the Rush tickets, the friend of Rush's manager, and I call him. I say, hey, when you get here, just come through the gate and bring our tickets. We're already inside. He's like, what do you mean you're already inside? I said, that's a long story. We'll tell you when you get here.
we're already here.
But just bring him in. And
He's
so, yeah, so he did, right? And so, hindsight's always 20/20, right? But, if we had to make that decision over again, I think we'd go through that door and meet the guys. Because what ends up happening was not good.
The manager didn't show up.
So we get there, well, and we got great seats. So we're sitting there ready for Rush. And I'm talking to the dude with the tickets. I'm like, hey, did you talk to the manager of Rush? We're going to go backstage still, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, let me call him now, right? So he calls him, and while we're standing there, he's talking to him. He's like, and the manager's telling him basically, hey, my kids got sick. I got stuck in Michigan, so I'm here at home. He lived in Michigan, so he didn't come. So that was our in to backstage. So now we don't get to go backstage. We don't meet him. Nothing gets signed. But at least we still had the amazing concert with, watching the boys for the last time.
You're also missing a couple key components here.
Yeah.
Okay. So one, the Rush's manager, his son is special needs.
Oh, didn't know that.
You remember that?
I forgot that.
Yeah. So he was doing some event. It wasn't Special Olympics, but it was some athletic event that he was participating in.
Oh, okay. I thought he was sick. Okay.
That he couldn't make it to the Rush concert in Chicago. Which was a bummer because we were all expecting to, meet Rush backstage. Otherwise, maybe we would have took the risk. Second of all, we all know that I did not ever see Rush before, so the risk of losing Rush to me outweighed the chance to go backstage. Now, hindsight,
Yeah.
one, we got free parking. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
did.
parking was what, probably $20 at the Tweeter Center, and we parked in employees parking.
we had to exit though, where everybody else was exiting, and walk entirely around the whole damn thing to get to the employee parking lot. Then we had to go through where the lady was out by the street with a gate, which was way back. And then,
But
we forgot we
that's
parked in the
literally
employee parking lot.
that's one beer. That's one beer for free. So we crushed them.
Yeah.
We crushed yours. And number two is the big thing you didn't mention is even though that we were in the kitchen for Rush, we were one wall away from being backstage and witnessing Rush.
Shaking their hands. Showing the only tattoo I have on my body is of Rush.
Exactly, which is a Rush tattoo.
Showing that.
What we did get to do is see sound checks.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. We were literally when you said that we were sitting at a picnic table, trying not to get caught, and nobody ever gave a shit that we were there. We were sitting at a picnic table watching Rush, all three band members, do sound checks.
Yeah.
Neil Peart on drums, doing sound checks, make sure it all sound good. Geddy Lee on vocals, on the microphone, making sure everything. They were singing songs. Alex Lifeson. They were singing songs to make sure everything sounded good, and the general public did not get to see that.
That's true.
Only a reason why we got to see that is because we snuck in as employees. So I consider the whole thing a plus.
Yeah.
We got free parking and we saw a Rush sound check. Even though we didn't get into the backstage, we should have. We should have did it. Looking back.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I'm glad we did exactly what we did because
it was the right call.
If we got kicked out, I would never forgive myself.
It was definitely the right call. It was kind of a no-brainer, but it was still tantalizing, man, to make the other decision, just to go through that door.
We're one door away.
And you would just like say, "Hey, Geddy, hey," they're right there, you could hear them right behind that door, and like, oh my God,
they're doing sound.
I feel like during the concert,
right there,
they should have stopped after one of the songs and came down and shook me and Jeff's hand, just because we went through all that and didn't get to meet them,
I know.
They said, there they are, right there, right in the front.
We were so close. I mean, imagine if we were through that door and we're just like, "Hey, do you guys need anything? Do you guys need a water, a Diet Coke, anything?" We could have made up any reason.
Yeah.
But it would have been legit because we're on the stage. So why would Rush ever second guess us? We made it there.
Yeah.
So we could have said anything.
Right.
Like, you guys need fucking Kleenex. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Rush.
We're just two guys that were hired to hang out with you guys. That's who we came.
They would have spoken to us. And
can I strum your guitar, Geddy? Your bass. Let me have a few notes. A little free will.
All right, like you guys are actually really, really good. Can you guys go on tour with us and just hand us guitars and drums?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think about this every day. I don't know what could have happened.
We could have been best buddies with them immediately.
We could have went on tour with them.
Yeah.
And I would have quit whatever job I had. Go on tour with them. But also, we could have been kicked out of the Tweeter Center, and I would have never saw Rush live in concert in my life. And that is a bigger travesty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that would have been a bigger loss. I mean, it was the only decision to make. I mean, we made the right one.
It was the only decision to make.
But it's sure nice to wonder, though, if we'd have chose the other one. It's sure
nice to wonder.
How cool that would have been,
But
we might have been handing the guitars during the show if we'd have gone through the door. They might have introduced us. Hey, these Jeff and Jeff dudes we met today backstage. Two employees of the Tweeter Center.
Whoa! Welcome, Jeff and Jeff. And they're right near 2112. You know, like Temples of Syrinx. Boom. You never know.
Oh man, we get
Yeah.
to sing "And the meek shall inherit." the earth." You know? They point
Jeffrey
to us when they
Jeff!
stop playing. You know, they point to us, and then we just sing that, and they go, "Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom." See, you can wonder all we want, and that's probably everything we said. Probably would have came true. We'd have been touring with them, and but you know,
I mean, just the fact that we got to see them do sound check is more than 99% of everybody.
yeah, that was cool.
And I'm fine with that, you know?
Yeah, no, that
We
was
got
cool.
we got sound check, which is awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Yeah, I don't know. It's that segues me into like freaking Aerosmith, man. Diane has never seen Aerosmith in her life. So we had tickets for the Aerosmith concert here in Knoxville, and it was supposed to have been a year ago. And so instead of getting a refund, I just said, let's just let it ride till it gets better, and then they tour again. So they tour again, and they're starting to tour, and they're touring for a while, and then what was it, a month ago they announced the retirement.
Yeah.
So right before they get to Knoxville, we had another month. It's like, yeah. So she never got to see him. I got to see him when they were in the top of their game in '78, right before they went into rehab, basically. And then I saw him again when they were not as popular, right before that song "Walk This Way" with Run DMC came out. That's what rejuvenated them again. But right before that, I saw them at the Holiday Star Theater. How about that? That's a smaller venue
Yeah.
in
That's small.
Maryville, Indiana.
Yeah.
And so it was cool. So, and then before we got there kind of early, we're walking up, and then there's an alley there, and then we saw the guys in the alley, like leaning against the wall and stuff. And one dude was smoking. I don't know who it was, Joe Perry or somebody. They were just, BSing back there, bullshitting. And it's like, I'm like, hey, there's where. But that was cool just to acknowledge it. Like that was funny too. Like our first Rush concert ever too was like, God, 1978. So that was the Hemisphere tour, and
Oh, that's so fucking cool,
I
man.
know we got there early, and we were in the upper deck. It was at the amphitheater, so it's kind of built like the Chicago Stadium, but it was an amphitheater. So it was a little smaller than Chicago Stadium, so you were closer, right? But we were in the upper deck on the side, but like the stage was right there, so we were close to the stage, but we were upper deck looking down, so we could see behind the stage too. And then we saw Geddy walking back and forth there. We're yelling, "Hey, Geddy!" He's like, "Hey!" So that was cool too. That was our first Rush concert. Actually got Geddy to acknowledge us. We
Yeah.
were there early, sitting up there by ourselves. It was cool. So, but what are you gonna do? So she'll never get to see Aerosmith, but yeah, it was cool seeing them at a small venue though. That was cool too, because they really rocked, man. That's how I got into rock. Really, was Aerosmith, and then once we found them, then my
Toys in the
buddy-
Attic or what?
yeah, it was Toys in the Attic. Because what happened was, like, I had a friend, Scott, who's passed away now, but his brother was older, right? He was 2 years older. So, we're being teenagers. I mean, he was older than us, so he was into music, just a little bit before we were. So what happened was Scott would bring over music from his older brother, So he brought over Toys in the Attic. I was just like floored by that album. I'm like, wow, this is it for me, man. This is cool. So it's funny is, like, I started looking for other albums with 5 members, because Aerosmith had 5 members. They had a singer, a rhythm guitar, lead guitar, a bass player, and a drummer. So I'm thinking, maybe that's cool on every band like that. It's funny what you think. But so then he brought over, like, we listened to that, and then we're like, oh, cool. So I went back and bought the first Aerosmith album, and then he bought, I forgot what he bought. Get Your Wings, I think, and then I bought Rocks. Those first 4 albums are unbelievable. But yeah, I don't know. It was so then he brought over an 8-track of Rush, All the World's a Stage. And let me tell you, we were in his van. My Scott had a van. We're sitting in my parents' driveway, right? And he puts this on, and like let's check this out, right? I mean, from the first note they started playing, man, and they're just jamming. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. Who are these guys, man? I was just so enamored, man. And then the more we kept playing it, dude, we were there at least 5.5 hours just in the driveway, listening to it over and over. I couldn't get enough of it. It was just like Aerosmith was cool to get me into it, and I love Aerosmith. But this was another level, man. They were all like amazing musicians already, and just jamming, man. Like it just hit a groove for me, and I just fell in love with those guys, man. So we couldn't stop listening to it. We just sat there forever, just listening to it. I never did that to an album before, but it was a double live. So, and
Yeah, I mean,
I got to take a little break, guys, because I'm older and the bladder's smaller.
all right, Ariel. Yeah, I mean, speaking of Rush, I have I mean that live record that you were just talking about,
All the World's a Stage.
All the World's a Stage. I have a vinyl record called Russian Roulette. So Rush in Roulette, like the name of the band. But basically it's songs from Exit Stage Left, which is another, live album from Rush, Exit Stage Left. But basically, if you put a needle down on a record, you have a song, a song, a song, a song, a song until you get to the end of the record. But on Russian Roulette, they pressed it and they mastered it in a super unique way where basically every single song on it, every groove is parallel with each other. So depending on where you drop the record, or drop the needle rather, you have a 1 in 6 equal chance of playing any song. It's a 2-minute snippet. It's the first 2 minutes of the album Exit Stage Left. So wherever you drop it, wherever it enters the groove, you have an equal 1 in 6 chance of playing a song.
So there's 6 continuous grooves then, basically, individually continuous grooves.
It's not
So
continuous. They're in parallel.
no, I know, but 6 individual continuous circles,
Yes,
basically,
they're all right
depending
next
on
to
where
each
you
other.
started.
So no
Yeah.
matter where the needle enters is where that song will go, and it's the first 2 minutes of Exit Stage Left. And it's basically, it was only a promo record. It was only for radio stations, super limited, and so that the record station could just drop that in the Russian Roulette record and put the needle down, and boom, whatever, 6, whatever, it was 2 minutes of whatever Rush song. So I
That's pretty
have
cool.
that, and I made a video about it, and it's on Vinyl Record Info on YouTube.
Check it out, everybody. It's
Yeah.
informative, and if you want to know anything about vinyl albums, that's the place to go.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
that is my passion. That is what I collect more than anything else, and I have a very real vinyl record passion. So I mean, if you're interested in late 60s or 70s rock, psych prog, then you're gonna love that channel. So Vinyl Record Info is the channel.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I had something really good.
I'm sure is an amazing endorsement of this.
Yes, it was amazing an endorsement, and you've got that channel, which is amazing. Everybody needs to check it out. And I've got a shirt that says "I might be old, but at least I got to see all the cool bands." So
That is
there you
true.
have it. There you have it. So
All the
That
vinyl
was the-
record bands that I have, I wish I could see live, but they were all from the 70s and 80s.
yeah.
And you know,
Here's the thing. I want you guys to try to envision this. It's kind of hard to do it, but in 1978, I went to my first concert. It was Aerosmith, Foreigner, special guest. We didn't know who it was going to be. They announced it as AC/DC. And it was Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush, and then there was some other guy, Walter Egan. So they were in reverse order. So it was going to be AC/DC third, Foreigner fourth, and Aerosmith fifth. So I kind of felt bad for Foreigner. AC/DC came out, like, hey, we announced AC/DC, right? This is with Bon Scott singing. And we're like, who? You know, we didn't know who AC/DC was. So they started playing. We knew then. Like, oh God, we got to go out and buy all the albums. So it was cool, right? And so they're jamming, right? AC/DC's jamming, and then we're ready for Aerosmith. But then Foreigner comes out, and they slow everything down. Star Rider, Rider. You know what I mean? They're a good band, but not sandwiched between AC/DC and Aerosmith. So
yeah.
unfortunately, people started throwing stuff at the stage, and Foreigner was out there, and he's like, "Well, if you don't stop throwing things, and we're gonna exit the stage." And then he shouldn't have said that. And then everybody pelted him, and then they left. But my point was, this is what you gotta try to envision. You guys are younger, but I'm going to this concert. I'm really dying to see Aerosmith, right? Because we just got into it and we're like, whoa, we're going to actually see a concert here, you know? So we're going into it like, we've never seen these 5 members in this band move. All we've seen is an album cover. Nowadays, you can just search and do a video of any song you want from anybody. We never seen them move. They weren't on TV. There was Don Kirshner's rock concert, and the best he did was like Kansas, he did, and but it was always some odd band. I don't know, but he didn't have too many good ones. But that was the only shot you had of seeing anybody, and we never seen him move. So when Foreigner got done with their thing, we all went. This is at White Sox Park, so we were in the outfield, and then we just picked up our blanket and went all the way toward the stage. When Aerosmith came in, everybody stood up and just took off toward the stage. So when they come running out from the back, dude, I had goosebumps. Like, whoa, right off the album cover. These guys are real. There's Steven Tyler right in the middle, running out, man, with his, his long dangly things hanging off his microphone, and like him tipping the microphone. He just starts in on it, man. Oh, it's so cool. Like, it's the first time you've seen them move. Like, I can't even explain that. Like,
So I gotta know. So the concert that you saw, AC/DC was opening the night,
third band.
then
5
Foreigner,
It was
and
5
then
bands.
Aerosmith.
Correct. Third, fourth, and fifth. Yep.
Oh my gosh! So Foreigner got screwed.
Oh, they did. They should have went first before AC/DC.
Good.
But
Yeah,
we didn't know who AC/DC was, and we did after that.
You got AC/DC and Aerosmith, which is hard rocking, awesome 70s rock,
Yeah.
and then Foreigner.
AC/DC was a surprise, but it was a nice surprise.
I mean, Foreigner is good too, but it's
a different genre almost.
It's not,
not as heavy hitter.
Van Morrison, that's tough.
Yeah.
Very, very tough.
Yeah, that's tough. That was a tough go, but it was good. But then
Your first
AC/DC,
concert?
yeah, first concert, and AC/DC had Bon Scott singing, the first singer, and then this was the summer of 1978, and then he died like in '79, like January, February '79, and then Back in Black came out. They did the Back in Black because of him, and then it came out beginning of 1980, I think it was. So this would have been their Highway to Hell tour, actually. So that last album before
Summer of '78.
Hello?
Yeah, summer of '78. Is that when it was?
Yeah, summer of '78. And then he died in like, I don't know, I want to say February of '79, '79. Somewhere around there, give or take a month. And then yeah, and then the new guy started for the next album.
I'm definitely including this in my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was Walter Egan started the night. He had one song that was on the radio, Magnets and Steel. And if you go back and play that, yeah. And then Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush. That was the name of the band. And he was known for playing
I know
guitar.
Mahogany Rush. Yeah.
Yeah. And Frank Marino was the main guy, the guitar player. Because that he had his name on it too, Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush. That's how they announced it.
Before AC/DC?
Yeah. Yeah.
So wait. Who played before AC/DC?
Walter Egan started. If you
Walter Egan?
Yeah, if you look up the song Magnets and Steel, that was the only song he was known for.
Okay.
And then it was Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush. So Mahogany Rush.
All right.
And then we want to announce special guest all the way from Australia, AC/DC. We're like, all right, you know. They just started jamming, man. We freaked out. And then Foreigner. They made it. I think they might have got 2 songs out. They got booted, and then Aerosmith came out. So, yeah, this is Aerosmith, and this was the Draw the Line tour. So that was their 5th album. So, yeah, they had Aerosmith, Get Your Wings, Toys in the Attic, Rocks, and then Draw the Line. And that's when we went. So they got all those great songs that they played. Like those first albums are amazing. Yep. Anyway, but I saw all them bands back then.
That's great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just to transition a little bit, it's funny how it takes 2 generations, and then I'm just like, I got nothing to say about these bands. You know, I don't. They're not my thing. I don't listen. I've listened to them. They're all right. Just weird how 2 generations and it's like it's
Yeah.
out. That's all it
Yep.
takes. But one of the bands that I do like that is from way back there is Velvet Underground, Lou Reed and everything. I just wanted to bring like a quick little like Lou Reed's beginning is kind of interesting to me.
Definitely.
Just the music he goes on to make is far different from where he started. I mean, I think he's born and raised in New York, and he starts as like a doo-wop member. He's a member of a doo-wop group in high school. They perform in their talent show. It was in 1958. And I guess they were received pretty well. I guess maybe at that time you could go somewhere from a talent show. But from that talent show, they're given the chance to record some songs. And I didn't know this, but they bring on King Curtis on the songs that they record with their doo-wop group. So I guess they do their thing with that for a minute until he gets to college. And he has like this like complete like mental breakdown, like total mental breakdown. And I guess his family decides to send him to ECT, like electroconvulsive therapy, like electric shock therapy. Like they wire your brain up and shit and like send shocks to you. I guess he believed his whole life that the reason they sent him to this is because he had like homosexual feelings or thoughts or whatever. So they just sent him to get like shocked. And
medieval
then,
shit.
Yeah, I guess from then on everything kind of changes. Like he hosts like a radio show, and then he gets more and more into like the scene or whatever, and then he meets people, and that's how like the Velvet Underground begins from there. It's I think the Velvet Underground and doo wop are like very different ends of the spectrum in a way.
For sure.
It's just pretty interesting how it changes once that electroshock therapy kicks in.
Yeah. So I recently did a vinyl deep dive on the Velvet Underground on Vinyl Record Info channel. And yeah, so I'm gonna do a series on vinyl deep dives. Just I'm gonna pick a few different records and do a series on them and like really dig into the history and the pressings and everything. But the Velvet Underground Nico is super fascinating.
Yes,
Just an incredible record, really. Um, so it came out in 1967 and recorded in 66, but it's credited with being basically the start of punk. Um, so I mean, just think of any punk rock band from the 80s or late 70s that you think of. They were influenced by the Velvet Underground and Nico 110%. Um, I mean, it's for sure. So basically, like Andy Warhol was their manager, and they did a print for him. So Velvet Underground Nico, basically, the cover of it has a yellow banana like you would normally. It says peel slowly and see. When you peel the banana off, it's a pink. I mean, inside of a banana. Um, the reason why they're so rare is because one, it's a Andy Warhol print. I mean, just think of buying a print, like an original print off of a very, very famous painter. Think Picasso, something like that, from around the time of Andy Warhol. I mean, just having an original print is, very rare and incredible. So having an original press of Velvet Nico is an original print of Andy Warhol. Not only that, on the back side of it, the original presses have a guy doing an upside down handstand, and his name is Eric Emerson, and he was a failed actor who was addicted to drugs, addicted to cocaine, and he wanted money, so he sued the Velvet Underground Nico. And instead of paying him, they were like, "Let's just recall all the records," and they airbrushed his upside down handstand off the cover of the record, the back cover of the record, and or destroyed all the records that had him on it, or put a big black sticker over him that just says Velvet Underground. So getting an original press of the Velvet Underground Nico is pretty incredible, no matter what state it's in. Because if you have the torso on the back of it, you know, it's incredible to get one like that because they were all either destroyed or sticker put over them or later airbrushed over. So the Velvet Underground has a huge stake in the vinyl community, and if you can find an original press with the torso and a full banana on it, unpeeled banana, you're looking at probably $2,500.
That's wild. I mean, I did not know that it was like that. It makes sense with Andy Warhol being involved in everything that it would end up being.
Yeah, maybe to $3,000. So I have one that has a little potassium. It's got a little potassium in there. I've got a little chips of banana still.
No full banana though.
Nope, no full banana. I'm not spending $3,000 on a banana cover, but I have an original with the torso that has a little bit of banana in it. And I got an incredible deal on it, and I got very, very lucky. More importantly, so, but yeah,
It's just too bad I didn't keep all my first press albums. They're all first press because
yeah, because you bought
they
it
were
when it
new
came out.
at the time.
It's an incredible album. It's even the story behind it of like they wanted nothing to do with Nico to begin with. Like they didn't like her at all or whatever, and Andy Warhol practically forced them to have Nico on the record. And it ends up
Exactly.
she ends up having some iconic moments of the album.
The Velvet Underground had wanted nothing to do with Nico. She was a German model.
Yeah.
And
very opposite of what they were about.
Andy Warhol was like, "Hey, you guys should have her on your record because I'm paying for all this." And so yeah, that happened. But subsequent records like White Heat they put out later did not have Nico because they didn't like her. And they also did it without Andy Warhol. So, she plays her role. She's not bad. She's not a bad singer. She did a couple solo albums as well. She's not the worst singer ever, but she's a model from Germany. So
very opposite of like the punk scene that they were creating, But I think it's a cool like juxtaposition on the album of
if you listen to it, you're like, oh yeah, somebody did a favor. Got
it. Yeah. I think it ultimately kind of worked out though, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it totally worked out because
so you're saying models can't sing?
What?
You're saying the models can't sing?
Typically not.
Well, in a punk music setting, certainly not.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
It's just so experimental, I guess, for the late '60s.
Yeah,
that nobody ever heard anything like that before.
Yeah, there's no music like that in the '60s.
Never. I mean, literally, it is the first sounds like this ever produced. I guess I ever heard. So, it's we could have probably done without Nico, but I mean the band is incredible. I mean she adds to it for sure. Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really listened to it back in the day. I was growing up. But...
Pretty sure I listened to "I'm Waiting for the Man" like 100 times the first time I heard it. It's great song, great album.
Sometimes I put it on and I just like lay back in my recliner and I put on the original pressing, and it feels to me like every single song could be a track in a modern movie. It's like the greatest like soundtrack. I feel like somebody needs to make a movie with a bunch of Velvet Underground songs on it because
100%. It's so easy to picture scenes and everything that fit each song.
That soundtrack would be incredible because it expresses so many emotions, and like it would fit, like depending on what song you picked, it would fit so many different scenes based on the emotion that like a Velvet Underground soundtrack would, I don't know, I feel like it'd be pretty incredible. But
100%, it hits like almost every emotion.
Yeah. And Brian Eno, who is a incredibly famous record producer. He's a musician too, but he's a very, very famous record producer in the UK. He, back in 1968, when the record first came out, he was like 30,000 people bought this record, and all 30,000 of those people started a band. That's how influential
Yeah.
the Velvet Underground was. Even back then, before they got their due. Now they're like, I mean, amongst 60s and 70s rock and roll fans, they're quintessential now. They're very, 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 very famous. Back then, nobody gave a shit, but it was only because they were the first. You know,
Yeah.
they're before they were the first sound like that before everybody else. So
It's a classic example of like ahead of your time. It always seems to work out like
very, very ahead of your time, man.
it always seems to work out like you don't get what you're due until far later, until people are dead or whatever. It's
Yeah. Unfortunate.
one of my favorite albums of all time.
Velvet Underground, Nico, check it out.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we're talking about very old stuff. All right, this is a generation gap. Let's talk about some new stuff.
Let's get new. Thank you. Thank
There
you.
you go, Liam.
Does Rush have any new stuff out?
Let's end the podcast.
Number one on
What was
HBO
your-
Max. For the viewer or the listener, all three of us on this podcast right now is from Chicago. We're all from
The
Chicago.
Bears.
So we love all Chicago sports. Basically, we love all Chicago everything. I mean, not because we're like Chicago fanatics. It's just we grew up in it. So we were acclimated to Chicago food, pizza, sports,
Whoop, whoop.
the
Yeah.
culture, climate, everything.
Best city I've ever been
Of all
to.
that, I miss the food the most.
I know, me too. I miss the pizza.
Yeah.
The
Miss the
most.
city and the food.
Yeah.
Living in South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky,
Italian beef.
not all known for their pizza.
That is true.
Yeah. So, you know what pisses me off the most too is like everybody equates Chicago with
Deep dish. Yeah, I know. Deep dish, yeah.
And I love. Don't get me wrong. I
I
love
have
deep.
strong opinions on this.
I love it. I love deep dish. Deep dish is one of my favorite pizzas ever.
I love it too. But
But our regular crust pizza is also better than yours.
yes.
100%.
You know, like
Aurelio's thin crust. I mean, you can't even
it's
come
better
close.
than your thin crust. It's better than your Brooklyn style. It's better than everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that deep dish isn't even Chicago's pizza. Like deep dish is great. It's a great like side piece to the actual pizza. It's the tavern style like square cut pizza that Chicago
Yeah.
does better than everybody else.
That's true. That's true.
I agree.
I love
I
deep
agree.
dish. I
I
love
agree
Little
totally.
Nutties. Great tavern
Yeah.
style can't be beat.
People saying deep dish. Oh, Chicago. It's lasagna. What
What are you talking about?
That's fucking crazy.
And there's people I've seen people
Regular
obsessed with cheese.
square cut pizza is better than yours. Like
Yeah, the thin
and it's
crust.
not close.
It's the crust. And the crust is totally different. And the sauce. I mean, it's everything to be honest.
the
I don't know.
sauce. It's the sauce. It's the cheese. It's the crust.
Yeah.
I
It's
need a
everything.
little bit of sweetness and a little sugar in the
A
sauce.
little bit of sweetness is where it gets lost. I think people
It's-
don't put
it's-
sweetness in there.
It's not even close to
No, it's
anywhere
not.
else. I mean, Brooklyn style pizza is like probably either the second most popular or the first most popular outside
It's the only
Chicago.
competitor.
It's our main competitor. I will say that.
The triangle floppy pieces.
Exactly.
The New
Like,
York
what the fuck
style.
are we talking about?
All right. You can't even hold it up. And
It's this
It's
big.
limp. It goes limp.
It's this big with super thin crust and cheese, and you gotta hold it like
You gotta fold it in
What are you
half.
doing?
Minimum.
You gotta have
to
two
fold it in half.
hands. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta fold it in half.
Let's
Oh, that's the way you do it. Bro, that's the way
just
you
make
do
a thicker pizza.
it.
It-
That no, Just I want a piece of pizza that is cut in a square, and
That-
that's good.
That
You know, I
doesn't
don't have to
go
fucking
limp. It's
do geometry to make sure I don't have hot cheese all over my shirt.
that's
You
right.
know, like
If you gotta
That's
fold
right.
your pizza in half, you're making your pizza wrong. Make it the right way.
Yeah, it
That's
can't
ridiculous.
go limp. It's got to be erect. It can't go limp. It's got to stay crust. I mean,
Right.
that's the word crust, right? Like it's crusty. You know, like it's got substance behind it. Like it should be stiff. You know,
Yeah.
like
We can't be soft out here. We can't do that.
nah. But
yeah,
that's how
so-
most of the pizza is. You know, that's how most of it is.
I haven't even
And
had
most
pizza
of
down
it's
here.
like a
I'm
most
afraid.
of it's like a deviation of Little Caesars. All these people, you know, it's like
I hate Little Caesars. It's the worst pizza I've ever had.
I know, but like
unfortunately
people make
it's
variations of Little Caesars, and they're like, our ingredients and bread is so much better, but it's like you're still big one step away from Little Caesars. It's like
yeah.
it's
I know,
It's like 75% air. I mean, it's fucked up.
like Chuck
you're
E. Cheese.
you're a better version of Little Caesars, but you're
I'd rather eat Chuck E. Cheese than Little Caesars.
And by the way, for the record, both of you were afraid of the Chuck E. Cheese band.
I remember being like completely terrified. That's a scary. That's a scary environment for a small child. You have to. There's a lot you have to like take in and like figure out what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. It's pretty realistic in there, though. The mouse band, whatever it was. But going back to your original thought about the Bears,
We got to get to the Bears at some point here.
the Bears. Well, maybe we should save it for the next cast.
yeah. I mean, what? Hold on, I'm gonna pause.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now, Liam?
Oh, we're like an hour 15.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. Do we want to do a third run right now?
I'll do a third one real quick.
I can't.
Oh,
I know.
Oh,
Usually
no.
I'm all into it. I'm so tired, dude. I can't even keep my eyes open.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be rough for me.
Okay.
Yep. So maybe we keep the Bears.
For the next one.
I got a lot of tidbits to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Alright, we'll keep Hard Knocks for the last one.
Hard Knocks. That's the
I'm
name of
passionate about Williams. That's where I'm at.
it. Caleb Williams. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
got
full in the cycle. It's that cycle of believing and then getting failure and
Yeah. Yeah. You haven't had enough failure yet.
yeah.
God, I
yeah.
sure hope he's the guy, man. I really do.
All right. I do want to talk about Katie's birthday and the pizza place we went to, and then we'll end it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. Ready?
On this one? Okay.
We're back.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of pizza, so my wife's birthday was yesterday, and we went to a pizza place, and that was not my idea. My wife found it, and she was like, "I want to try this pizza place out." And I was like, "Awesome," because I try, I don't know, probably, I mean, at least 1 to 2 pizza places out a week, just all around the Charleston area.
I do the same shit.
Yeah,
Do they always miss down here? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, it's always a miss.
I
Oh,
mean,
We
it's
found
not
one
great.
that's not too bad. The last one we had. We just went yesterday too.
It's got to
Again.
scratch that like itch that you get in Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
never does.
also like Jeff. I found one who is the closest I can get to Chicago pizza.
Almost worse because it doesn't fully get there.
I mean, it's close.
Yeah.
Close enough to where I'm very, very happy with it.
Okay.
But
It's funny
it's not the
how
place we-
low your
it's not
bar
the place
goes.
we went to.
It's not. That's
Gotta be on the
nice.
floor.
Yeah. So we went to a place called the Mellow Mushroom.
Oh yeah.
And
We got that out here in
yeah. Do
Pigeon
you really?
Forge. Yeah, in
That's
the
dang
tourist
pizza
area.
place. Oh god.
You know it ain't good.
Here we go.
Yeah. So Katie was like, my wife, Katie, was like, "Hey, it's my birthday, and I'd like to go to this restaurant." I was like, "Great." And she's like, "It's the Mellow Mushroom." And I was like, "Jeez, everything's made out of mushrooms." Because my wife is a vegetarian, so and she went along with it too. She messed with me a little bit. She was like, "Yeah, I mean, all the pizzas are made out of mushrooms." So I thought the crust was like a mushroom crust. I thought,
You fell for it hard.
I hate mushrooms. They taste like dirt.
I love mushrooms. That's
yeah,
not a bad thing.
I
They like dirt, apparently.
I was viscerally upset. But I didn't say anything because it's her birthday. I'll do
Yeah.
whatever. I don't
course.
care. So
You brought a ham sandwich in your pocket.
Grilled cheese.
I will say I was pretty upset. I had piss poor attitude. How about that? But yeah, I was not happy. But like a few days out, I was looking at the menu of the pizza, like probably 3 or 4 days before we went there, and I was like,
That's crazy.
"Fuck! It seems like I can get a pepperoni." I, I I was like, "Wife, I mean Katie, I can get a pepperoni here." She's like, "Yeah, you can get a pepperoni there." I was like, "You told me it was mushroom. Everything's made. The crust made mushrooms." She's like, "Yeah, I was fucking with you." I was like, "The hell?"
Yeah.
Usually,
know.
when you mess with somebody, you tell the person later as the gag.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
"Hey."
That's when you can laugh.
It took you looking at the menu. Yeah, it's good.
No, she let it right.
And why is a place called, like, if it's called like something pizza, I know it's pizza, but if it's called Mellow Mushroom, why is that called that? Because I'm thinking everything's mushroom too. Like, I'm not even going in there because
They have
I
to
hate
cater to
mushrooms.
vegetarian. They have to. That's why they do it. They have to be catered to vegetarian.
It's a pizza joint, and their whole motif and theme is like psychedelic mushrooms. Like,
Oh my God.
whoa. It
So it
has nothing to do with the pizza or the food at all. It's
Oh.
all about just being like out there, like, whoa.
Yeah,
That's
okay. Like LSD.
infuriating. That sucks.
That's horrible.
I mean,
So other than that, the pizza was amazing.
It just straight up sucks.
the pizza sucked. I mean, we first
That's
of
what
all,
you really mean about it.
the only reason why we went there yesterday, or the reason why my wife picked it yesterday, was because it was a giant bar. Like, there was an incredible amount of tapped beer there,
Okay.
which we're all about. So we get there, we sit down, and the first thing the waitress says is, "Hey, something happened with the taps. Something's wrong. All of the beer is coming out warm."
But we'll give you some mushrooms for appetizers.
You're fucked. You're just the whole reason that you picked this is now gone. Now you have no reason to be here.
We got mushroom juice. We fermented it in a barrel. It tastes like whiskey.
We have nothing for you but bad pizza and warm beer.
It's
Also,
we
if
sum
you
it up.
know my
We
wife,
summed it up.
our biggest pet peeve is not ice cold beer out of the tap, because we mostly always get IPAs. We're big IPA fans. And if your IPA is not ice cold,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It
gross.
sucks. It's
Yeah.
not. It's 30% better if it's ice cold compared to cold. And so we're like, oh, cool. Like, I mean, their whole menu is all about their draft beers. They have like 100 taps. And that's the only reason why we went here. Like, oh,
And you couldn't
fucking
have any.
cool. And we're not gonna do it. So we do.
But that reminds me, hang on before I forget. That reminds me of the place, the McDonald's, a brand new one, it opened on Stager Road out there by 394.
Yeah.
When it first opened, like about 3 or 4 weeks in, I'm going through the drive-through. I'm like, give me 3 hamburgers. She goes, wait, I just want to let you know we don't have any hamburgers. We ran out. And I say, and you're open still?
Yeah,
Why?
You need to shut
Yeah.
down the
Close your doors.
Wait, you're and
that's
you're
your
open.
product.
You're answering
You're open
the
with no
drive-thru.
product.
What, you want a fish fillet? No, I don't want a fish. I
We
didn't
don't
come
have
to
any
town
bread.
for
We
fish.
have no bread.
Fries.
Hey, you don't have
Fries
any
only.
hamburgers, no meat, no red meat. No, we're out.
Okay,
That's
that's
That's it.
75% of your menu.
Close it up. Close up shop.
What is that?
That's
Continue.
anyway.
Anyways, yeah. So what the fuck was it on about?
Beer is
Mushrooms. You were like
Okay,
mushrooms
yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah,
pizza
yeah.
now.
That's
Now
the-
you
yes,
come around
yes.
and you love
This-
mushrooms.
Whatever this guy's talking.
Yeah.
Mushrooms. And you got
So
so
so it was we couldn't basically buy any cold tap beer. So the only cold beer in the whole place was canned. Obviously a shorter list, but it was like, all right, whatever. So I pick a IPA that is like called like In the Clouds. I don't know. I made that up, but it's something along those lines. Katie, my wife, picks like something called like Juice World or something.
Oh,
like that.
I know. Yeah, I know that one.
I don't even know. It's something like that. And I don't like juice anything in my beer. I don't want any type of juice in my beer, basically. The only time I ever fruit the beer is like Corona with lime and
Blue Moon with an orange.
Blue Moon with orange.
Yeah.
That's it.
Solid.
Yeah. So my wife gets whatever the fuck that is. And she literally asks the waitress, like, is this a weird beer? Like a seltzer beer? Because it was like so fruit forward. It was like whatever the description was, it made me also think that it may have been like a seltzer
Yeah.
weird
Bubbly.
IPA.
Bubbly.
Something bubbly. And then she was like, no, it's an IPA. So I was just like, all right, I like that. And I got a regular IPA called In the Cloud. So she gets it. I try mine.
It's warm.
Not a good IPA, not a bad IPA. She tries hers. It's a sour IPA.
Okay.
Mm.
Wow.
A sour.
Yeah.
She never told us. It was. So Katie was pissed because she's like, if I ask you,
Yeah, I know.
about this IPA,
Sour's a big deal. You got to say
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
and you don't say anything, she's like, yeah, no, it's just an IPA. You don't say
And-
anything,
And you're
anything
blocked.
at all,
And you're
that's not-
blocked from taste testing anything other than the tappers. You can't even taste test. Because once you open a can, you got to have the can.
That's it. You can't.
Yeah.
It's not like I can get a little shot glass of the tap. So yeah, and then I get my. So it's her birthday yesterday. So obviously I give her my beer because I'm a gentleman, and I drink her beer, and it is fucking disgusting. A sour IPA.
I like sours.
I don't get how both of you guys like sours. I don't get it.
I
I
only
really
like
don't
it from one
understand.
place. I only like it from the place down here. That's the only place.
If you go to the actual breweries and get sours at the breweries, they're really good.
Yeah, from the tap.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Gotta be
you guys are wrong.
that.
You guys are actually just incorrect. It's disgusting. So I gutted it down because it was his birthday, but
Well,
nah.
next time next podcast, I'll tell you about a story about this Italian beef sandwich I had one time
I miss Italian beef so much.
that I had to send back, which I've never sent food back in my entire life. Had to go back. We'll
You
talk
also-
about it next
You
time.
remember the piss story with the Aurelio's pizza?
What?
Remember when the guy pissed on the pizza?
What?
You remember that? I remember that.
Somebody pissed on your Aurelio's pizza?
David for the podcast. Next up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. There's a little teaser for the next go around. Put that in your notes, Liam. We'll forget otherwise.
Yeah.
And everybody tune in. Tell your friends to tune in, to like us, to subscribe. Do everything you can do. Touch it with your fingers, whatever. We'll be
Final
here
record
again.
info.
Yeah.
Vinyl record info, please go
That's
take a
another
peek.
plug. And then here we are. What are we? I was almost at Fifth Dimension. What are we? Oh,
Third-
Generation
our
Gap.
Our third episode of Generation Gap.
G Gap. All right. Adios.
Bye.